So when Janae, after Janae speaks, after you finish speak, Janae, right, when you first speak, I say,
Okay, here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon. And we're just about complete with the preliminary round of the National Tourism Debate 2022 competition. We are at match 6. And this afternoon, we have Edwin Allen High, and Charlemont High. Before we go any further, we would like to congratulate and thank our sponsors who are with us this afternoon and made it possible. The Tourism Enhancement Fund, Deja All Inclusive Resort, the Jamaica Hotel and Tourism Association, otherwise called the GHTA, Royalton Luxury Resort, Chucka Caribbean, Coral Cliff Gaming Lounge, Pier 1 Bar and Restaurant, Margaritaville Group, Origin Juices, and Starbucks Jamaica. The 2022 National Tourism Debate is endorsed by the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce and the GHTA. Our adjudicators this afternoon, Mr. Robin Russell, President of the GHTA, Attorney at Law, Mr. Mika Bryce, and Mr. Dominic Shaw, who is a Director of the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce and also in charge of PR. Our move this afternoon, this House believes that government spending should be reallocated to develop other forms of tourism, such as medical and heritage. Proposing the move is Edwin Allen, and opposing the move is Charlemont High. Our speakers who are proposing the move from Edwin Allen, Janae Armstrong, first speaker. Second speaker, Shanika Crossdale. Third speaker, Romy Simpson. Charlemont High, Samaria Gordon. Second speaker, Shanil Lavon. Third speaker, Nathaniel Smith. And Mr. Shaquan White is their reserve. The first speaker is allowed 7 minutes, second speaker 5 minutes, and third speaker 3 minutes, followed by a rebuttal, which will begin with the opposing team, and they're given 3 minutes. The match will begin with our proposing team, Edwin Allen. Let's have a round of applause for all the students and coaches this afternoon. We will now proceed with our 6th match in the 2022 National Tourism Debate competition. We will spotlight Edwin Allenheim, who will begin in the proposing position. Edwin Allen. First speaker, Edwin Allen, you may go ahead. She's a bit frozen. Is it just me? Good afternoon. Everyone seems to be frozen. So we will have to begin with Edwin Allen again.
It seems as though Edwin Allen has been dropped from the meeting.
Can you repeat that?
It seems as though Edwin Allen has been dropped from the meeting.
All right, we'll wait for them to rejoin. All right, they're back. First speaker, Edwin Allen, you may go ahead.
Madam Chairperson, honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, specially invited guests, and last but by no means least, the opposition. It is with great pleasure that I stand here today to propose the motion. This House believes that government spending should be reallocated to develop other forms of tourism such as medical and heritage. As first speaker, it is crucial that I define the key terminologies in this motion. These are government spending, reallocate, medical tourism, and heritage tourism. According to an article written by the Corporate Finance Institute on April 28, 2022, government spending refers to money spent by the public sector on the acquisition of goods and provision of services such as education, healthcare, social protection, and defense. The article goes on to say that government spending is financed primarily through two sources: direct and indirect taxes collected by the government. Then ladies, and if we are the ones taxes are being collected from, doesn't it automatically give us a right to give our input on how our money should be spent? I believe it does. Reallocate, ladies and gentlemen, is to assign or allot to a different purpose or person from the one originally intended. The Ohio Division of Travel and Tourism in 1997 defines heritage tourism as traveling to experience the places and activities that authentically represent the stories and peoples of the past. People travel from all over the world to experience Jamaica's rich culture, but some of these sites are being neglected and it does not reflect on us well. According to an article by Dr. Tomislav Mestrovic, medical tourism can be defined as the process of traveling outside the country of residence for the purpose of receiving medical care. Ladies and gentlemen, now that we have a better understanding of the motion, let us get down to the meat of the matter. Gentle folks, if you have been following the news, you would have heard of a case where a house in
Okay, Edwin Allen has frozen again. We're gonna give them a few minutes. All right, I believe Edwin Allen is having a little technical difficulties. Let us understand technology. I will try and make contact with her. Our apologies, they are trying to find another way to log on. We will give them a few more minutes.
Afternoon, Michelle. I sent you a personal message. Can you both in the group and you just respond? Thank you.
Good afternoon. Are you hearing? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you.
The Edwin Allen team is back on. Are you able to hear us?
Yes, hearing you loud and clearly.
Okay, we would like to begin. Let us spotlight Edwin Allen.
Good afternoon. The Edwin Allen team is back. Are you able to hear us?
Yes, we are, and we're gonna ask Mr. Wilson to
We do
spotlight you.
apologize.
We have lost some time. However, the judges understand, and we're gonna ask Edwin Allen to proceed. Mr. Wilson, are you having some complications?
Could you please,
Everything is fine on my end.
should the first speaker for the Edwin team continue, or should she begin? Again?
Not hearing you. Please repeat.
I'm asking, should the first speaker for our team continue from where she left off, or should she
No,
start?
she would have to begin. She would have to begin. From the beginning, please, and we need a spotlight on Edwin Allen.
All right, thank you.
Please go ahead.
Start now.
Yes, you can.
Okay. Madam Chairperson, honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, specially invited guests, and last but by no means least, members of the opposition. It is with great pleasure that I stand here today to propose the motion. This House believes that government spending should be reallocated to develop other forms of tourism, such as medical and heritage. As first speaker, it is crucial that I define the key terminologies in this motion. These are government spending, reallocate, medical tourism, and heritage tourism. According to an article written by the Corporate Finance Institute on April 28, 2022, government spending refers to money spent by the public sector on the acquisition of goods and provision of services such as education, healthcare, social protection, and defense. The article goes on to say that government spending is financed primarily through two sources: direct and indirect taxes collected by the government. Then, ladies and gentlemen, if we are the ones taxes are being collected from, doesn't it automatically give us a right to give our input on how our money should be spent? I believe it does. Reallocate, ladies and gentlemen, is to assign or allot to a different purpose or person from the one originally intended. The Ohio Division of Travel and Tourism in 1997 defines heritage tourism as traveling to experience the places and activities that authentically represents the stories and people of the past. People travel from all over the world to experience Jamaica's rich culture, but some of these sites are being neglected and it does not reflect on us well. According to an article by Dr. Tomislav Mestrovic, medical tourism can be defined as the process of traveling outside the country of residence for the purpose of receiving medical care. Ladies and gentlemen, now that we have a better understanding of the motion, let us get down to the meat of the matter. Gentle folks, if you have been following the news, you would have heard of a case where a house in Westmoreland perished in a fire and unfortunately took the lives of 3 young males. One young female survived, but due to the fact that Jamaica does not have a burn unit, she had to be transported to the United States, where they have more resources to help her. She is now a tourist in America for the prime purpose of medical assistance, hence contributing to their medical tourism. Now, can you imagine how much the economy would benefit if we developed our medical facilities in such a way so that persons can travel to get medical assistance at a reasonable price? Dr. Mestrovic also stated, what really puts the word tourism in the medical tourism concept is that people often stay in the foreign country after the medical procedure. Travelers can thus take advantage of their visit by sightseeing, taking day trips, or participating in any other traditional tourism activities. Ladies and gentlemen, I am sure that statement would allow you to see how coming to Jamaica for medical assistance can also boost heritage tourism as well. My grandma would say, take one stone and kill two birds. Once one aspect is improved, then the revenues can be used to develop other aspects of the country. Tourism plays an important role in the Caribbean economy. Thousands of tourists visit the islands each year, which, according to Andrew Holness, brings in approximately $60 billion in GDP and generates 2.8 million jobs. Approximately 15.2% of employment in the region falls within the tourism sector, he said. Then, ladies and gentlemen, if we are so dependent on tourism, why not use the money to develop medical and heritage tourism, which will in turn attract more tourists? One may argue that the government spending should not be reallocated to these forms of tourism, but should instead be distributed evenly. I disagree. For too long, we have been trusting these politicians blindly. And what do? They rob the education system blindly. Ask Rural Reid. Then there is this Trafigura scandal. Ask Colin Campbell. They built a simply flimsy Montego Bay sign valued $70 million. Tell me, how has the economy benefited from this? That sign could have been constructed at a more reasonable cost and the remaining money be invested in medical and heritage tourism. Money that should have been used for the betterment of the country has been pocketed by Jamaican politicians. Now, if that money that was taken was used to renovate some of these historical sites and reopen and update the medical facilities, Jamaica would have been in a better position as more revenue would be coming in due to more frequent tourist travels to Jamaica. Executive Director of the Washington, D.C. Board of Medicine, Dr. Jacqueline Watson, says Jamaica can establish and operate a thriving health tourism industry, mainly in the area of healthcare. She urged the country to prepare for the new U.S. healthcare plan slated to come on stream during 2015, as Jamaica could attract many persons who will then have health insurance. People travel, and the main reason they are traveling is for health reasons, and they choose an attractive destination. Depending on the services you are offering, it can certainly be a boom to the economy, Dr. Watson said. The roads are not being fixed. Poor people are not benefiting from taxes being paid. We are seeing nothing being done with the taxes being taken. We want to see a change. Reallocate government spending to develop heritage and medical tourism. We should be able to see change if this is done. Ladies and gentlemen, I have highlighted a few main points, and my second speaker will be tasked with reminding us of the importance of spending money on preserving and maintaining our beautiful historical sites and medical facilities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that was our first speaker from Edwin Allen, who's proposing the motion, Janai Armstrong. We will now spotlight Charlemont High and welcome Samaria Gordon.
Good afternoon, mic check.
Yes, good afternoon. You may go ahead, Ms. Gordon, first speaker, Charlemont High.
Before I begin my speech, the first speaker of the proposition stated something about a female having to travel abroad for medical treatment. Our question for you is, would building another hospital solve the inefficient management and persistent bed shortages, bacterial outbreaks, and long period for Jamaicans, then how would it help tourists? And another point, exactly, the money that you said was being wasted on heritage tourism. What exactly is the amount remaining and where exactly is it being reallocated to? Madam Speaker, proposition and members of the House. Madam Speaker, proposition and members of the House. A pleasant afternoon. The opposing team will be arguing that government spending should not be reallocated to develop other forms of tourism, such as medical and heritage. We disagree with the move. There are 4 key terms into this motion: government spending, reallocation, medical tourism, and heritage tourism. Government spending refers to all expenditures made by a government, which are used to fund public services, social benefits, and investments in capital. Or, according to the Cambridge Dictionary, it is the total amount of money that the government spends in a particular period. A reallocation is the redistribution of funds from one case to one or more other cases. The National Trust for Historic Preservation defines heritage tourism as traveling to experience the places, artifacts, and activities that authentically represents the stories and people of the past and present. As defined by the Cambridge Dictionary, medical tourism is to travel to a foreign country in order to get access to medical treatment, especially because it is less expensive than in your own country. We don't necessarily have to restate the mood based on the definitions given, but we need to contextualize it. Because when we say government spending, obviously the motion is not meant to be construed that we're looking at the entirety of government spending. It must then be that we are looking at government spending as it relates specifically towards tourism and how the government spends the money that is allocated for tourism. There's no way that the government is suggesting that they would want to reallocate money from education, health and wellness, national security. That cannot be what the government is proposing. As the first speaker of the opposing team, I will be introducing our arguments, as well as discuss the fact that a reallocation is not necessary. Our second speaker will be expounding on how the government can use government spending in the most efficient and cost-effective way possible in order to gain maximum returns and development. Lastly, our third speaker will be discussing the fact that Jamaica cannot afford medical tourism and also give an alternative to reallocation. The motion is clear. This debate is not about the viability of other tourism products such as medical and heritage. It is about how the government can use government spending in the most efficient and cost-effective way possible in order to gain maximum returns and development. A Jamaica Gleaner article written by Latonya Lincoln dated February 11, 2022 states that the government is proposing to spend a total of $912 billion for the 2022-23 fiscal year. Now, as of late, an additional $60 billion has been added, which sums up the national budget for the 2022-23 fiscal year to be $972 billion. We have also decided to check the national budget for this year that was tabled by the government. Of that, the Ministry of Tourism budget stands at a whopping $11.5 billion. Once again, it stands at a whopping $11.5 billion. Let me break it down for you. Specifically, $4.8 billion is geared towards tourism development, out of which $2.5 billion is allocated for tourism product enhancement. Do not tell me that there isn't enough money and that the government has to take it from somewhere else. My grandfather always said, if it's not broken, then why fix it? Let me break it down a bit further. Out of the $2.5 billion, which is specifically for tourism product enhancement, $162 million is there for capacity development. $1.685 billion for rehabilitation, maintenance, and repair. Of that amount, only 1.23 billion is earmarked for specific functions, leaving more than 400 million that can be used for the maintenance and repair of heritage sites. $202 million is there for the tourism investment. This activity not only supports various investments in tourism, including the small and medium lending scheme facility, which targets startup, the artisan village, the tourism innovation town facility, community tourism activities, and ecotourism development to sustain protected areas. It also includes investment through NGO partnerships. There's also $231 million for tourism business development. This activity supports 5 key networks, namely health and wellness, shopping, knowledge, sports and entertainment, and gastronomy. And you're telling me that government spending needs to be reallocated? How is that reasonable or even practical for the government to invest more money into tourism? Going a step further, on the destination assurance, there is another $835 million for port development, in which the activity supports significant transformational projects that create business opportunities, improve the aesthetic appeal of resort areas, and provide seamless service at the dispatch basis. Government, I want you to understand that there is already a set of money that is set in place to be spent on heritage tourism. To list a few, you have Spruce Up on the Corner, which stands at $250 million. Resort Town and Heritage Upgrading, $100 million. Tourism Resort Maintenance Program, $500 million. Are you saying $11.5 billion for tourism isn't enough? It's like the process of making a cake. Adding another layer is fine, but when you have to cut chocolate to add vanilla, can we really say we're adding value? All we're saying is that use the remaining ingredients to add your layer. We don't have to cut or affect anything else on the side of the cake. We are also stating that the money is there in Tourism Enhancement Fund, which has a mandate of promoting growth and development in the tourism sector, encouraging better management of environmental resources in Jamaica, enhancing the country's overall tourist experience, and providing for the sustainable development of the tourism sector. Pertaining to a Jamaica Dinner article written by Janet Silvera, dated August 31, 2022, Tourism Minister Edwin said the Tourism Enhancement Fund pulled over $2.4 billion. Let me repeat, it pulled over $2.4 billion over the period, representing a 20% increase when compared to pre-pandemic earnings. To top it off, there's also the Tourism Innovation Incubator, which was launched in September 2022 and is based on the objective of generating new ideas and providing funding. Government, guess what this program is being led by? The Tourism Enhancement Fund. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Edwin Allen and Charlemont High. Both schools, you ran over time. We're asking you please to remember the speaking time. All right, after your time is up, the judges are not supposed to record your points being made. So please pay attention to that. Edwin Allen, we will now spotlight Edwin Allen and welcome their second speaker, Shanika Crossdale. Both schools, the coaches for Edwin Allen, Savon Matthews, Miss Samoy Williams, and Coach Bennett from Charlemont High. Shanika Crossdale, you may go ahead when you're ready.
Are you hearing me clearly?
Go ahead, please, Miss.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My first speaker would have defined the key terms and highlighted a number of reasons we believe government spending should be reallocated to develop other forms of tourism, such as medical and heritage. We can all agree that Jamaica is wonderfully blessed with limitless potential in both its rich natural and human resources. No one here would disagree that we are a people who have distinguished ourselves both locally and internationally in a wide range of endeavors, whether it be our vibrant cultural landscape or the athletic prowess of our people. Case in point, how many countries around the world who do not have snow could have the audacity to enter a bobsled team in a major international competition? Many tourists are curious to experience life in a country where the fastest man and woman in the world were born and bred. Just imagine that and let it marinate for a moment, ladies and gentlemen. It does not stop there. Jamaica is certainly no slouch in the field of science and medicine. Our scientists and doctors are world renowned. Just ask Dr. Lockhart and Professor Manley. Their medical breakthrough in the field of medicine has had worldwide reverberations. So too did the achievements of the late Dr. Thomas Lecky. Furthermore, our scientists at the Scientific Research Council of Jamaica have given the world new insights into the cancer-fighting qualities of soil and the curative benefits of cannabis. Are we using these new discoveries to attract tourists to Jamaica? We could be saving lives and reaping the success from medical tourism. As a result of these discoveries, scientists around the world have flocked to Jamaica at different times to witness firsthand the work of these innovative Jamaicans. We are now at a point where we need tourists and not just scientists to witness and experience these medical breakthroughs. Our medical system in Jamaica is severely underfinanced and our citizens are being treated poorly. Can you imagine going to a hospital at the brink of dying only to hear that there are no beds available? I have a solution for you. Reallocate government spending. Spend some big money to develop the medical system. This will not only boost medical tourism, but it will also provide better medical services for our citizens. Jamaica is regarded as a cultural reference point around the world, and the city of Kingston is the musical heritage site. Added to that, our history is chronicled in major must-see museums and settlements across the length and breadth of this island nation. Let me help you to remember a few of our outstanding attractions. One, the Bob Marley Museum in Kingston, filled with memories and mementos of this world-famous son of Jamaica. Two, Port Royal, a place rich in history, now a port of call for cruise ships. And three, Maroon settlements across the island who are a testament to our African traditions and our history of slavery. Who were the opponents? Surely you see the gold mine we are sitting on in this country? Let us really do some introspective. Is the government spending enough to ensure that these places are preserved and its artifacts maintained? No. Many of these places are slowly running down. If we ensure that money is spent to develop and properly preserve our heritage, then pretty soon, business will be booming and tourists from all over the world will visit more frequently. Let me now educate you on why we should reallocate government spending to engage in heritage and medical tourism. Primarily because we are not seeing results from what the government is currently spending on. Additionally, it will be a rich source of foreign exchange, which can complement the traditional tourism package and create even more jobs and opportunities for our people. The name Jamaica conjures up so much for the world, and many people with deep pockets want more than just white sand and sun. People also travel to have procedures, medical procedures, performed at a fraction of the cost in their own countries. Jamaica is just over an hour away from the United States. It is an English-speaking country with competent health professionals who could perform these operations safely, and the country will benefit as will the visitor. A win-win situation. The Dominican Republic has embraced this avenue of income. Our scores of tourists, even Jamaicans, go there to enhance their bodies. Ladies like Spice and social media influencer Apple admitted to doing liposuction surgeries to get rid of their stubborn belly fat in Dominica. They would have contributed to medical tourism as well as heritage tourism, as they would have stayed a little longer in order to start the healing process and experience life in Dominica. If the government were to invest in this industry, the potential would be astounding. Money that could be used to fix the road, money that could be used to reduce the crime
I'm
level.
sorry, we're gonna have to stop you there. You're out of time.
I thank you.
Okay, coaches, I had placed a remark in the group. I'm not sure if you timed these speeches, but they're way over time. We're gonna move over to Charlemont High. Second speaker, Shania Laban. Now, if the timekeeper, I'm gonna ask the presenters or speakers, both schools, to pay attention to the messages that are coming. You'll see that you're being prompted. When you're out of time, we give some minutes over, but we're actually having to I am now putting messages that we're out of time, and the timekeeper, I notice she's prompting 2 or 3 times that the teams are out of time. So Charlemont High, let's spotlight Charlemont High and welcome Shania Laban. All right, Ms. Laban, please pay attention to the timekeeper points and posts in the chat. You may begin. You can go ahead.
Madam Speaker, government, and members of the House, a pleasant good afternoon. Before I begin, yes, second speaker, we do agree with you. Our hospitals do lack beds that we are saying. Why build a tourist hospital and ours need to be fixed? The government does not need to invest in more money into heritage tourism because there is already money set to be spent on heritage tourism. The first speaker has already established that there is already over $400 billion budget to develop and rehabilitate heritage sites. She has also shown that there is money within the tourism budget that can be used to develop other forms of tourism like medical tourism. The government wants you to believe that we are against developing new forms of tourism, but all we are saying is no reallocation. Reallocation is not the answer. If more money is needed beyond identified by our first speaker, Jamaica cannot afford it. 1/3 of Jamaica's $972 billion budget services debt. 33 cents of every dollar goes towards servicing debt. According to a Jamaica Gleaner article dated May 12, 2021, JAMPRO, the marketing arm of the Jamaica government, is already facilitating 3 medical tourism projects for the parishes of Portland, St. Andrew, and St. James that needs funding. The largest of the 3 projects, the Grande Ridge Medical City, to be developed in Montego Bay, requires $48 billion. Now remember, as stated by the first speaker, the tourism budget is only $11 billion. That one medical facility is more than 4 times the entire budget of all tourism spending. They estimate that the country could earn 10 times more than traditional tourism per visitor. But will this venture be ever possible? Profitable, excuse me. According to the same article, 25 years before Jamaica sees even $1 of profit, medical tourism is not a golden goose. It is not the answer. It is also improper of the government to assume that niche forms of tourism, like medical tourism, would be better than traditional forms of tourism. In economics, there is the fundamental principle of opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the value of what is given up. The goal of any government is to achieve the smallest opportunity cost possible. If the government reallocates, what would be given up? Can the government truly say that a hospital or even a medical hotel has a greater earning potential than a traditional all-inclusive resort and attraction? Which do you think will draw more visitors and more revenue in the long run? We know that the traditional hotel works because we have already had a competitive advantage in that area. We have the beaches, the food, the music, and the people. Spending on new areas like medical tourism specifically would have a greater opportunity cost than spending in traditional areas. We have yet to reach Jamaica's full potential in these areas for us to now turn to spending on non-conventional areas. According to the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, 2022, tourism earnings have grown non-stop for the past 2 decades without slowing down. Thanks to the expansion of hotels, the building of new hotels, and new ways to stay like Airbnb. Why not spend on traditional areas that will benefit the tourism industry immensely? According to the Jamaica Gleaner article dated February 12, 2018, Airbnb hosts in Jamaica earned $1 billion in 2017. Doesn't it make more sense to focus on this new spin on traditional tourism? Why would tourists want to come to Jamaica for medical tourism when doctors are leaving Jamaica to go overseas? According to the Jamaica Observer's article dated August 11, 2021, more than half of the 143 doctors who were left jobless in July 2021 after their contracts with state-run facilities were not renewed have moved on to brighter prospects. Why? Because the government could not afford it. Let us fix medical care for our locals before we invite foreigners to suffer. Or is it that the government proposing that foreigners' health care is more important than healthcare hospitals for our own citizens? Thank you.
Thank you so very much. All right, we will head on back over to Edwin Allen. Romy Simpson, third speaker from Edwin Allen. And just a reminder to our viewers who is probably watching us on our YouTube stream, this house believes that government spending should be reallocated to develop other forms of tourism, such as medical and heritage. And we have Edwin Allen proposing the move, and Charlemont High is opposing the move. So Romy Simpson, who is with Edwin Allen, he will now come in as the third speaker, and they are in proposition. Mr. Wilson, you can spotlight Edwin Allen when you're ready. Mr. Simpson, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Simpson, you can go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am sure my first and second speaker would have given several valid reasons government spending should be reallocated to develop medical and heritage tourism, and I am here to give additional reasons. No, attentive opponents, you are no doubt aware that we live in a region that is beset from time to time with natural disasters, particularly hurricanes. Just look at how hurricanes decimated Dominica, who markets itself as the nature eye. Its forests were all wiped out by a hurricane, and Dominica suffered a deep financial crisis, as almost overnight they lost their forests. St. Martin and the Bahamas, two powerhouses in the tourist trade, were virtually out of business for several months. and they were starved of much needed foreign exchange, which, as we all know, is the lifeblood of our economy in the Caribbean. Now, opponents, economists will tell you that it is prudent, given the vicissitudes of life, that we diversify our economy so as to safeguard our income in times of unforeseen circumstances. Most of our neighbors in the region offer similar packages to tourists. If we suffer some misfortune, tourists may turn to a neighboring destination. The Bahamas ran an advertisement some years ago inviting tourists who had booked trips to Jamaica to visit the Bahamas. Given our misfortune, many decried their strategy as tasteless, but they asserted that they were open for business. Another reason we wholeheartedly hold fast to the notion that heritage tourism should be explored by the government is the fact that very few of our competitors have the combination of culture, rich history, and a varied array of attractions that we possess. This is a means by which we can both distinguish ourselves and our citizens will enjoy a bigger slice of the tourist dollar, so to speak, as the tourists are out and about meeting the locals, taking the taxis, eating in local restaurants, buying from the cane man or the lady selling her herbs and spices, rather than being in an all-inclusive resort. Just imagine how well the maroon settlements would do from all the visits by tourists, or a town like Port Royal. The craft vendors and a host of persons would be better able to take care of themselves and their families. Look at what we have to offer in medical tourism. Number one, Bath Mineral Fountain in St. Thomas. This source was discovered by a slave in the 1690s. It is reputedly excellent for those suffering from rheumatic illnesses, joint ailments, and skin conditions. Number two, Milk River Bath in Clarendon, whose waters are 9 times as radioactive as those at Bath in England and 3 times those at Karlovy Vary in the Czech Republic, that are world-renowned facilities of this type. Number three, in Jamaica, a certain well-known doctor offers gastric bypass surgery, and people from all over the world come to him to have their procedures done and fly back home while enjoying the ambience of Jamaica. These are all places persons would be anxious to visit, but are they being maintained? No. A number of reviews were left of Milk River's Bath website, and most are focused on the importance of renovating the place. One reads, after driving on a long, poorly marked roadway, we finally found the Milk River Mineral Bath. The Milk River Hotel and Spa building are old and run down, and the staff are somewhat friendly. Please do yourself and family a favor and don't book a stay here, as it is half-star at best. The spa wasn't spa at all. The tubs are old and poorly maintained. The tiles were broke, causing a safety hazard if you're not careful. Don't waste your time and gas money driving here. Another review reads, totally disappointed. I can't begin to describe how horrible the bath was. Until they renovate and upgrade, don't waste your time. These are comments left by tourists. The healing properties associated with Milk River Bath is described as miraculous. But if the place is unkept, who would want to visit? Ladies and gentlemen, do not be deceived. Medical and heritage tourism can change the current state of Jamaica's economy. Let us invest in it by reallocating government spending to these forms of tourism. I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. We have some well-researched points here. And we're going to move over to Charlemont High. Third speaker, Nathaniel Smith. Let us have some spotlight over there. Ms. Smith, you may begin when you're ready.
As the fellow third speaker stated, natural disasters and Dominica, this debate is about Jamaica's heritage and medical tourism, not the Caribbean. Now, as my first and second speaker has stated before, there is no need to reallocate government spending towards tourism because money is already there. Jamaica is not known for healthcare, medical tourism, and we can become renowned for it, but not through government coffers. Remember, the government has a duty to the populace, that critical need to build the theater of crime and violence, and ensure that we stay off advisory lists, cautioning tourists not to visit, and maintaining a positive diplomatic relation with countries in our key marketplace. Did you know Jamaica was ranked 120 out of 195 countries on the Global Health Security Index? Now, this index measures a broad variety of health outcomes and risk factors over time. We have a very poor 31.8 index score. Mr. Government, should we even mention the current dead baby saga? According to the World Bank, Jamaica's 2020 under 5 mortality rate is 13.6, and that is per 100,000 births. We are ranked 84th in the world out of 193 countries. According to the Ministry of Health quarterly report, we have only 17 public hospitals, 3 grade A's and another 3 specialized. Mr. Speaker, do you think building another hospital will solve the inefficient management, the persistent bed shortages, not to mention the long waiting periods and bacterial outbreaks? One not even designed to solve the problems in our current system, but for tourists? Why? If we can't get it right for our own citizens, how do you expect to get it right for foreigners? All this will do is a further widening up the wealth gap between the have and the have-nots. Why spend our money on a long shot when we can spend other persons? For example, foreign direct investment. Jamaica's tourism strategy in tourism has always been foreign direct investment. The success of this industry is proof that tourism does, that FDI does work. According to the BOJ, 123 million US dollars in FDI was brought in the tourism sector just for 2021. 368 for 2015, 334 million for 2016, and 85.6 million for 2020. Now you might be saying that the money decreases. Yes, you are right. But there is still no need to reallocate government spending because the figures show that we were once at 368 million. So we can get back there. All we need to do is get foreign direct investors to invest in our tourism products and save taxpayers' money. I thank you.
I can see that we're sticking to the time, which is good. Both schools will now prepare their rebuttals, and this will give the judges some time to deliberate their scores so far. Allow me to just thank our judges this afternoon, Dominic Shaw, who is Director and PR Chair at the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce, Ms. Tamika Brides, Attorney at Law, and Mr. Robin Russell, President of the GHTA, and also one of our sponsors, the Managing Director for Deja All Inclusive Resort. Speaking of sponsorship, allow me to thank the type of sponsors, the Tourism Enhancement Fund, the GHTA, Royalton Luxury Resort, Choco Caribbean, Coral Cliff Gaming and Lounge. You would have seen those trivia giveaways on our social media platforms. Please enter. Pier 1 Bar and Restaurant, Margaritaville Group, Origin Juices, Starbucks Jamaica. Our coaches this afternoon, Edwin Allen, Savard Matthews, Miss Samoy Williams, and everybody knows Coach Bennett now from Charlemont High. Very, very good job to all our coaches so far for the National Tourism Debate. We have in production timekeeper Michaela Arcos and Janoy Wilson. So Mr. Wilson, is it's his first time with us this afternoon. So welcome to you, Mr. Wilson. While the schools prepare their rebuttals, we are gonna have a little music interlude if we can. They have approximately 3 more minutes. Just a reminder that all students are to stay in camera lens when preparing the rebuttals. No technology of any sorts, phones or laptops. Welcome back. All right, if you're just joining us, we're streaming live on YouTube. We are in match 6 of the preliminary round, and we're now in the rebuttal section. We are going to invite the opposing team, Charlemont High, followed by the proposing team, Edwin Allen, to present their rebuttals. Can we have a spotlight on Charlemont High, please?
Can we get the
Charlemont High,
names?
your rebuttal.
Can we get the names of who is doing rebuttals, please?
Can you say your name, please?
Nathaniel Smith.
You may go ahead.
The first speaker of the proposition stated that the government collects direct and indirect money taxes, and we are free to spend it however we want. But we are saying, why spend taxpayers' money when we can get other persons to invest in our tourism products? For example, foreign direct investments, as stated by our third speaker, that it is one of Jamaica's best strategy when it comes on to tourism enhancement. The government wants you to believe that we are against reallocation, but that is not so. All we are saying is that can the government truly say that a hospital or even a medical hotel has a greater earning potential than a traditional all-inclusive resort or attraction? The money that you said is being wasted by heritage tourism. What exactly is the remaining money that is left after the reallocation? All we are saying is there is already money in the tourism heritage sector, namely the Spruce Up Pandy Corner, which has $250,000, Resort Town and Heritage Upgrading, which has $100,000, Content Sports Complex Phase 2, which has $40,000, and I should make this clear. This is in $1 million. It is in $1 million. Black River Streetscape Phase 2, which has $30,000 million. Trenchtown Performance Space Phase 3, which has $20,000 US, $20,000 Tourism Resort Maintenance Program, which has $500,000. Public Beach Upgrade Program, which has $60,000, and Milk River Rehabilitation Program, which has $30,000. All we're saying, there is no need to reallocate money towards the tourism sector because money is already there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now take the rebuttals from Edwin Allen. You may go ahead. You have 3 minutes for the rebuttal.
Can I start now?
Yes.
Good evening to you all once more. Let us go straight into the meat of the matter. Your first speaker asked, where would money be reallocated to? She also went on to say that Jamaica cannot afford it. Well, the money used to build the $17 million flimsy Montego Bay sign could have been used to invest in medical and heritage tourism. Your first speaker also said that her father said that if something is not broken, why try fix it? Well, actually, our medical system in Jamaica is broken and really needs fixing. Your third speaker said that we already have 17 hospitals. It can't solve every problem, but it can solve a lot of medical problems. Can't solve every medical problem, but we strongly disagree. If it didn't need fixing, then the case of the 9-year-old female who got burned wouldn't have to go abroad to their burnt unit. Other speakers spoke about the amount of money being reallocated to medical and heritage tourism, but they aren't looking at the amount of money they would profit from reallocating the money to medical and heritage tourism. Your second speaker also went ahead to say money is being reallocated to national securities. But can I ask the question, do you feel safe in your homes and community? I don't personally, but I don't know what you think. Anyways, there is always money, but it isn't enough. That is true. Anyways, I rest my case.
Let's have a round of applause for them. Public speaking is not easy, and I can tell you that it took a lot of courage for both schools. Are you hearing me, Mr. Wilson? Yes?
Loud and clear.
Right there? Okay. It took a lot of courage for these students to come forward and present this. No, it did not. This afternoon. The question has been asked if Edwin Allen's video froze. No, it didn't. She said she rested her case. So we want to congratulate our students. I think some of them look kind of young, so they may be fourth or fifth formers. And we had Edwin Allen and Charlemont High. Charlemont High has been in the third position before, and I think second. I can't remember what year it was, but before COVID, they've been with us for some time. Our adjudicators this afternoon, we want to thank you for making the effort. And in production, Mr. Wilson and Michaela, thank you so very much. The judges will now join each other in the breakout room as they discuss and do what they do, judge. We'll be right back. Mr. Wilson, thank you.